A lot to talk about weather-wise. We've got some special weather statements that have been issued for Southeast and the Slope, and then of course we have a storm warning for the Aleutians, but we'll jump into that and talk about that. But first, of course, I want to start off with your daylight hours. Now, these daylight hours are shortening day by day super fast, so we're already down to 13 hours and 38 minutes of daylight here in Anchorage, and those hours are just going to keep getting shorter and shorter day by day. So make sure you're making the most of your time. Make sure that you appreciate the little bit of sunlight that we do have right now as we progress into the darker season. So just keep that in mind. Just look at that. And of course, let's just jump right into what we're talking about today for weather. So with our time lapse today, you can already see we've had mostly cloudy skies, just overcast skies. And then at some point in the afternoon, we did have a bit of sunlight peeking out, and that's kind of what you can expect to see for tomorrow as well. Those mostly cloudy skies starting off the day, and then as you progress to the afternoon, you're going to see a little bit of break in that sunlight, bringing in some more sunny skies, some partly sunny skies. So that is the good news for tomorrow, but we do have just mostly cloudy skies expected throughout this week, and then even some light scattered showers into the afternoon hours for most of the week as well. Now with our weather headlines, I love this photo so much. It's such a good picture, so thank you Clarence Summers for sending this in to us. That was just in Eagle River last night. But with our weather headlines, we do have special weather statements issued for the Slope and the Southeast, which I did mention at the start of this live stream. For the Slope, you're going to have some snow on the way as you progress through this week, so that's going to come through on Wednesday. You're going to get some heavy snow accumulations, and then for Southeast, that's for heavy rainfall that's going to come Wednesday and Thursday. But we do have some storm and gale warnings issued for the Aleutian Islands. And the Aleutians and the western Alaska are going to be the most impacted by the storm system that is moving through the Aleutian chain. So with our upper level forecast, you can see that teal circle kind of off in the corner over the Aleutian Islands. As that progresses starting tomorrow, you're going to see that start to go over some of the islands, and it's mostly going to affect areas like Adak, Adka as well. But that's mostly just for Monday, and that's going to include some heavy rainfall, some wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour winds, and then of course you're going to have some we're going to have some higher wave heights as well. So the sea is going to build about 10 to 15 feet from this storm system. So that just kind of shows the effects of the storm system and what it's doing for your area. But as Tuesday starts to come around, that's going to shift into the Alaska Peninsula, and then that's going to bring in some more showers. So there's that system that I just pointed out to you. You can see that over the Aleutian chain, and then as Tuesday rolls in, you can see most of that moisture becomes more widespread, and it goes into the Alaska Peninsula, goes into Kodiak Island, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, that's when we're going to see it here in South Central. So that's what the effect is from that storm system. That's what that low pressure system is going to be doing. So it's going to be bringing in a lot of high wave heights for those coastal regions, and then bringing in some of those heavier rain showers for those more inland areas, and of course those higher elevation areas. You're also going to see some snow. So for Southeast Wednesday going into Thursday, that's when we're seeing that special weather statement issued. That's 2 to 4 inches of rain expected for the more northern portion of Southeast, and you can even see that on looking ahead right there. So more yellow, more orange is expected, and Yakutat is one of those areas that's expected to see a lot of that rain, and that's going to come in a little over an inch of rain expected for that area just by Tuesday. So we're already expecting a lot of rain on the way, and again some snow and freezing rain in those higher elevation regions. So just looking at our satellite and radar right now, we do have that storm warning for the Aleutian Islands, that gale warning following as well, and then we have a special weather statement issued for the North Slope and for parts of the Southeast as well. So North Slope, again, like I mentioned, that's going to be some snow that's going to be expected, some heavy snow accumulation as we progress from Wednesday to Thursday. Pretty much the entire region, just everything highlighted in white, that's what's expected to get some snow. So everything north of the Brooks Range is expected to get some snow, and then Southeast expecting to get some heavy rainfall moving throughout this work week. So with the storm warning, just big takeaway, rainfall, strong winds, and some high wave heights as well. So just looking at those high wave heights, you see that area highlighted in green and yellow. Those are those higher wave heights associated with that storm. And I think it's interesting because you can just see the outline of that low pressure just from the wave heights. So again, like I said, the sea is going to build up 10 to 15 feet. And of course, that really starts to affect some of those smaller islands. So just keep that in mind and be aware of that. But that that storm warning is going to be issued for Monday mostly. So there's some of those wind gusts that I mentioned, 47 miles per hour in St. George. But of course, that's going to really go up once Monday progresses. So you're going to get those wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour, especially for areas like Cold Bay, Adak. Those are those areas that are going to see much stronger wind gusts. Now, just looking at our expected rainfall going into Monday, you're not really seeing much happening. Looks fairly dry across the region, but then as we progress from Monday into Tuesday, that's when you're going to start to notice a little bit more of that rain moving on in. Those higher elevation regions up north, like Anaktuvuk Pass, that's where we're going to see a lot more of that snow and rain start to move in. And then, of course, for the Aleutian Islands as well. But Wednesday is going to be the big rainy day for most of the area across the state. So looking at our current cameras right now, we see a lot of that moisture still lingering here in Anchorage and for Palmer. We've had a break in those clouds, a little bit more sunshine being let through, but we're just going to continue to see very similar conditions. Pretty much what you saw this weekend is what you're going to see continuing through this work week. So some mostly cloudy skies, break with sunshine, and then some of those light scattered showers as well. And then Fairbanks is going to see those mostly cloudy skies as well, with some cooler temperatures closer to 60 pretty much throughout the entire area. And then for Southeast, we're expecting to see an increase in those cloud cover skies, and then some of those temperatures staying closer to 60. And there you can see right there, Yakutat is that area that's going to see a lot of that rain starting to move in pretty early. But then you're just going to continue to get more and more rain as we move through this work week. Now moving into the interior, we're seeing those temperatures closer to 60, and that's going to be kind of the same thing we're seeing nearly across the board across the state. Those mostly cloudy skies, temperatures near 60, but of course for the northern slope, we're seeing those cloudy skies start to move in, and then that low pressure system that is sitting up north of the north slope is going to start to shift down, and that's what's bringing in all that snow and bringing in those cooler temperatures as well. Western Alaska seeing those temperatures closer to 50 degrees for those highs. Some of those more western interior parts like Galena and McGrath, you're going to start to see some of that rain start to come through. And the Aleutians, that's where we're seeing that storm warning issued. Temperatures going to stay about normal, but of course those wind gusts are going to be pretty strong, from 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts. The 70 mile per hour gusts are possible, but we're really expecting to see those gusts at 60. So already really strong winds expected for Monday. Quite the way to start off the work week with lots of rain, wind, and those higher wave heights. Now for here in South Central, we're seeing those temperatures closer to 60, seeing some showers in the area. Homer's expecting to see about 1/4 of an inch of rain. And then moving into the Copper River Basin, that's where we're expecting to see much more rain for South Central. So we're not really seeing a whole lot for the region specifically, but Copper River Basin is already going to see quite a bit. We already had some of that rain moving on in today. That's going to continue into tomorrow with rain, 1/4 of an inch of rain expected, and accumulating closer to a full inch of rain by the end of the week. So temperatures staying closer to 60, and same for Matsu. Temperatures staying closer to 60 with those cloudy skies rolling on in. Here in Anchorage, we're also expecting to see those mostly cloudy skies moving on in for the weekend. So just looking statewide, that's kind of what we're expecting to see. You can kind of see where that storm is moving through, with Unalaska and Cold Bay, all of that rain starting to move in. But then as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to get a lot rainier for some areas specifically. So should be a pretty interesting week in weather in my opinion. But for Anchorage in our 7-day forecast, those temperatures are staying pretty close to 60 nearly all week long. Some showers are expected, some scattered showers moving into the afternoon and overnight hours, but mostly cloudy skies moving in. And for Fairbanks, seeing those cloudy skies continuing with temperatures closer to 60. So very, very similar to what we're seeing here in Anchorage. But yeah, that's kind of what we're expecting to see. Just a lot of storms happening, just lots of forecasted events, like the heavy rain in Southeast, the snow and the slope, and then that storm warning we have for the Aleutians. So that storm that's in the Aleutians right now is going to affect South Central later on this week, just not quite yet. So just for the time being, cloudy skies in south central. We've got some stormy conditions for the Aleutians. Western Alaska is seeing kind of a mix of cloudy weather and rainy weather. And the slope for now is just going to see some light rain and some cloudy skies before those more snowy conditions start to move in by Wednesday. And then that's the same for southeast, seeing more of those rainy conditions moving in later on this week. So the later half of this week is when you can really expect to start to see more of those crazy weather conditions happening. But until then, starting off the week, not too bad, but of course, Aleutians, you're seeing pretty heavy winds. So that's kind of what we're expecting to see. With that, I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope you have a great work week to start off moving into tomorrow. And with that, I will leave you with our view for the day in Ketchikan.